Hey guys, welcome to Nico Play. This is another episode of Love, Money, Rock and Roll, and unfortunately we could hardly say the gods of Japan had gifted Saya her beauty. So we just keep insulting people, we keep being slackers, we keep being annoying, and we are very, very bad student. And we are disgrace. Obviously, I will start this video from this a little bit negative note, but Nikolai is like fucking disgrace of entire Russian population for sure. So let's proceed with this beautiful game. Let's see how it's gonna end for sure, because I'm super curious. It's sometimes said that girls choose bad-looking friends to appear better in contrast, and some people says that schizophrenics are trying to talk to themselves, like me. I wasn't sure if Himitsu ever thought about this, but the fact remained. Alright, sorry. Asshole, jerk, idiot. Absolutely agree. I'm completely on Saya's position. She jumped up from her chair, threw an unfinished bun at me, and ran to the cafeteria's exit. Well, so much for conversation. The lessons were running their course, and the class was unusually quiet. I didn't learn Catherine's address, and neither did I know why she didn't come to school today. But how was that strange exactly? She disappeared from my life for 1.5 years, and now I was already panicking after a single day. It was an unpleasant feeling, as if nothing has changed after her return. I kept agonizing over things and working myself up as I had before, but now... Boom, guys! Well, I'm so sorry, had some quick emergency, but right now I'm here, everything is fine. No, it happens, change outfit, changed everything, let's go. But now I had a real opportunity and reason to talk with her and try to figure out our relationship, a real reason for hope. What hope? You're gonna get expelled like tomorrow. There was no tangible goal ahead, no script for victory or defeat, only gray days that followed each other like gray clouds in the sky on a rainy day. I didn't believe everything would be like it was before. I didn't believe it would be much worse, because that would simply not be possible. I just wanted to be understood. Maybe then something would change. I felt like I was terminally ill with only 50 or 60 years left to live. That's a lot, bro. If you're 18, 50 years living, you will die like at 68? It's fucking a lot. Maybe in this situation it would make sense to try and get the most out of life, to live every day like the last. But almost anyone would throw their heads up. Why strain yourself if the end is inevitable? And only one thing could still change something for me, the belief that everything I did wasn't in vain, that someone else needed all of it as well. Maybe somewhere deep inside I was waiting for an apology too, even though all hope had long been lost. Look everyone, I didn't just give up, didn't surrender my arms and cease to struggle. Yes, I lost, but I fought till the very end. I did everything I could. Time and time again it seemed to be that everyone was silently laughing at me. Even Michael, even Kuyosoki. Because they knew how much of a loser I was, if only they could understand. Beautiful loser, he's having the fabulous house, the beautiful friends, beautiful girls, and he's like, oh, my life is miserable. The only one who wasn't laughing was Himitsu, because she was always close, she saw everything from beginning to end. She understood, she cared, exactly. She was like a nurse on a battlefield, caring for the soldiers falling but still alive. But in that case, why couldn't I love her the same way I loved Catherine? Because you're a bitch, you have to grow up, you know? It was if some sort of chain shackled my soul, the chain of duty, making you leap into the fight with that remains of your strength, forgetting a real reason for battle. Fatherland, religion, love, it's easy to come up with a reason to heroically die, leave a mark on history, or at least in the memory of those close to you. It's much harder to come up with a reason to live when the abstract concept that flutter like banners over the enemy's stronghold disappear in the hazy smoke of daily existence. There is no meaning to my life. I just wanted my accomplishments in battles, past, recognized. Abandoned by everyone, blinded by the faded flashes of the once great feeling, I wandered aimlessly through the now empty battlefield. I no longer believed Himitsu could save me. Why would she need a mortally wounded cripple? Neither did I believe I would be able to find my weapon by hand and charge forward to the distant goal, hoping not even to win but to die, grasping happiness in my last moments. He's pathetic. Fucking Nikolai is pathetic. He's just like fucking
Hey Nick, are you asleep or something?
Huh? I was generally prone to daydreams, but they didn't rule my life, remaining on some existential level. Otherwise, I would have long lost myself to alcohol or taking my own life.
I wouldn't normally call you a people person, but today you're just pitiful to look at.
Well, thank you for the concern.
Is this about Catherine?
Kuyusoki sat on my desk. It creaked and even bent slightly. Fucking fat ass coming. Oh, he said that. I was like thinking like he's fucking fat ass. Man, you fat ass, are you trying to cause an earthquake? I pushed him aside and laughed. I see you lively as always. Michael approached us.
Well, I can't speak for Nick.
Alright, let's go eat or something. I just wanted to distract myself from my gloomy thoughts for a bit. Today we didn't need to elbow our way through the cafeteria. Kuyusoki knew every runaround, not to mention the chubby young man had a great relationship with all the women here. We were sitting in the middle of the hall like kings, which made my Japanese friend look especially funny. All of that slightly improved my mood. Did you watch the game yesterday? Michael asked, lazily poking the rice with a spoon.
You bet, of course. You know, in the third inning.
I never understood the Japanese obsession with baseball. Oh yeah, right. The Japanese are they're like super crazy about baseball. I remember that. Or rather, I couldn't understand the point of the game in the first place. Hey, it's a very good game. I love baseball actually. I even have the 219 game, the baseball on PlayStation 4. I purchased a disc. Sure, it wasn't hard to remember the rules, but I was always more interested in the more traditional sports, football, basketball, hockey. And here were Michael and Kuyusoki, USA and Japan, perhaps the only the two countries where baseball was popular at all. So their conversation was starting to really bore me. Guys, give it a rest already. You can propose a different topic. Michael easily parried. What topics could I possibly have? My mood quickly returned to being as bad as it could. My recently agonized thoughts overwhelmed me again.
Nick, don't be like that.
Kuyusoki mumbled sympathetically. I agree. You need to keep thinking positively in any situation. I was morally exhausted, tired of all these thoughts, and didn't have any strength left to get angry at them. Like you'll understand. Sometimes simple support is enough.
Yes, Nick, we're your friends after all.
Guys, it's not so simple.
Psychologists say you can't keep everything inside.
Kuyusoki said didactically. I don't see any psychologists around here.
Sometimes you can get it off your chest with someone you've close with.
Michael looked as imperturbable as ever. Of course, there was nothing strange in my friend's desire to help, but I couldn't get rid of the idea that they had goals of their own in mind. With Kuyusoki, it was obvious. Curiosity. It was like a sucker fish, feeding our hearsay and rumors about their lives to others. Even had something like an information network in the school. I like to believe said network wouldn't start gossiping about my life as well. I'm not sure if network was already existed back in the days, like kinda. It's fucking 80s. I know that Japan is, one of the most progressive country in the world, but still. But although it was pretty simple with Kuyusoki, Michael, on the other hand, he was diligently pretending to be interested in my situation, just because I somehow felt like that wasn't the case. Well, let's say you don't exactly know. Look, maybe to find the right words. The backstory. Maybe. He responded coldly.
Oh well, tell you then, not a biggie.
It took just short glance from me for Kuyusoki to hush up. It's not a secret or anything, it's just... But really, what did I have to hide? Our past relationship with Catherine wasn't a secret. In reality, many people in the school knew about it, and I was acting as if I wanted to preserve something sacred, something only I and maybe also Katya knew. It was stupid, but at the moment I couldn't act any other way. ... The unpleasant conversation somehow died out, and we finished the lunch in relative peace. chilling. The lessons drag out on painful slow pace, but as long as last the final bell rang. I was slowly packing the books when Himitsu materialized near my chair as if having jumped out of transwarp. Transwarp is a term from the Star Trek universe associated with some technologies that allow the utilization of speeds that exceed traditional warp drive limits. It's fast. Nico-kun, let's go home together. She gave me a cute smile. As cute as always, and I'd say much cuter than in the past several days. I had nothing against going home, but I couldn't get over the fact that I'd never found out where Catherine had gone. But what could I do? There seemed to be only two logical solutions. To go where she'd been living before, or try to find her mother. On one hand, there was a certain chance that return to the same flat they'd been using before. Why not? It was most probably an ambassadorial apartment. On the other, her mother was a relatively famous person, so in theory it'd be easy to find her. But at the same time, the nasty voice of reason in my head was whispering that Catherine had only missed school for one day, that it was too early to panic. Hey, hello, Nico-kun, Earth to Nico-kun. Oh my god, why she's doing that? Yeah, sorry, I was daydreaming. Wow, they gave us 3 options. Check Catherine's old apartment, try to find her mother, go home with Himitsu. Please, let's just go home with Himitsu. This whole thing was weird. I had waited for a year and a half, and how couldn't endure a single day? Catherine could have dozens of reasons to skip classes today, and most probably none of them were connected to me, exactly. Let's go. Yes, babe, let's go. ... Oi, Himitsu looked somehow too content. I wanted to ask what happened, but couldn't bring myself to. As a following a habit, I was making up a believable lie, anything just to not tell her the truth. But what in the world did I have to fear now? After all, I decided not to fuss about Catherine. I probably just got too used to keeping my true feelings hidden from Himitsu in futile attempts to prevent myself from hurting her. What are you thinking, Nico-kun? Well, Here I go again. Yeah, here we go. Just school, there's barely any of it left, and then it's adulthood. Why? There's college, university, another university, like, bro, it's never an adulthood, if you say so. I smiled to somehow smooth out the same gravity of the topic. Long overdue. Well, it's more complicated for me compared to you. Why is that? You made your choice long ago. You want to teach Russian, but I don't know yet. Oh wait, what? You made your choice long ago. You want to teach Russian. So she knew Russian? Why they speak Japanese then? Because for Russians it's a little bit different, guys. If you speak Russian and 10 other languages, people always speak Russian too. I don't know why. It's just like some fucking Russian thing, but whatever. For some reason, Himitsu blushed but kept looking at me just as intently. Better sooner than later, I have more time to get ready to. I'm not arguing with that, but that's all well good when you know you want to be, and to be honest, I don't want to become anyone. Nico-kun! I'll go work retail for minimum wage and drink myself silly in the evenings. Nico-kun! Fine, fine. If I become a teacher, we could. We could? Okay, go on, go on. The end of the phrase lingered in the air. I mean, you could. No, we could, honey. We're gonna be together. What? Himitsu totally lost herself in the maze of her own unsaid words. But you used to have dreams and aspirations before. And when was that? I laughed. Before. She stamped her small foot as hard as she could. Stopped. A year and a half ago. I don't recall. Of course you don't. She clearly meant when Catherine and I were still together. But who did I want to become at the time? The grief and pain seemed to have erased all other memories. No, I did, of course, remember how good it was to be together, the moments of joy and happiness, but at the same time I completely forgot the mundane, everyday moments, as if that whole period of my life was fixated on her. Catherine. Was I not eating, sleeping, going to school, talking to Himitsu then? I bit my lip in frustration. There was only one thing you cared about back then. What? You know what? This standard women's cop and out suddenly sounded extremely fitting. Himitsu, come on, don't start again. Come on what? Don't start what? I guess I was so used to finishing her sentences in my head, I was reflexively attributing words she never said to her. I don't want to fight, especially not without a reason. It wasn't at all convincing, so I took an extreme measure. I'm here now, with you. I'm not running after Catherine. It was time to put an end to our game of euphemisms, yeah.
Where else would you be?
Your reaction was unexpectedly calm.
You're your own worst enemy after all.
That's a very deep philosophy. Yeah, you are enemy to yourself. Well, if that's how you choose to put it. He smiled and walked on toward home. What the hell was that? ... Himitsu was sitting in my room doing her homework while I laid on the bed reading manga. Come on, come babe, come here. Let's read manga together at my soft, cozy bed. I'm pretty sure it smells so horrible because he definitely not doing laundry for half a year. It seemed like an absolutely normal sight, not for a conversation a couple hours prior. She was, however, acting as if nothing had happened. I felt uncomfortable to a degree, but decided not to get back to the topic, so as to not make things even worse.
Nico-kun, should I spell?
Huh. Okay, okay, she's saying the word осветить or освятить. So basically, the two meanings. The first one, to lit the room, and the second meaning, to bring the holiness, like to make it sacred, like to make it, saint, like Jesus Christ, like some that shit. Well, that depends on what you're talking about, exactly. The sentence, освещает нам путь. Well, that's still hard. Освещает нам путь, like lit the way. But it's not like lit the way. It's like make the way holy. The way should be holy. It should not consider to the Satan. No. The all ways should be in the name of God. And there should be an E. What are you writing? An essay. And the topic? Religion and Faith in Dostoevsky novel The Brothers Karamazov. Wow, holy fuck. Holy guacamole. Yeah, well, I definitely have to go to Japan if they read Dostoevsky. Oh, I had never even read this novel. Would I be envious of Himitsu? I mean, our school held classes for most of the common languages of the world, but I rejected the idea of learning Russian as my second language the day one. Why? I was fine as is, wasn't I? Turns out I wasn't. So is it interesting? Read it, you can find out for yourself. So is it long? That's actually a good question. Don't distract me, you've got...
Don't distract me, you've got your manga.
Comparison of Dostoevsky to manga stung me even stronger. As you wish, milady. Yeah, he definitely didn't read Shakespeare. I jerked myself? Who the fuck translated that shit? He jerked? He like really fucking jerked? And went to the kitchen like... She can jerk you actually. Jerk you off if you want. More than a minute later, Himitsu was yet to show up. Was I really upset with her because the entirety of her life didn't revolve around me? Whatever. ... Go jerk yourself, motherfucker. Evening was drawing near. It was already time for dinner and Himitsu still hadn't finished her essay. Annoyed, mostly with myself, I dug into the refrigerator, emerging with several eggs and vegetables. I could at least manage an omelette. ... Not bad. Himitsu had a bite and complimented my cooking. How's Fyodor Mikhailovich doing? That's the full name of Dostoevsky.
Well, he tackles matters more philosophical than scrambled eggs.
It's an omelette. I clarified and started to chew with double the speed. No, it wasn't envy at all, rather it was shame. Yes, I was ashamed of being in fact absolutely pathetic even compared to Himitsu. Why even? Did I really consider her just a piece of furniture? Well, you lend me the book?
Are you really interested?
She marveled. Well, it is Russian literature after all.
But there is no science fiction in it at all.
That's not funny.
I didn't want to upset you.
Mitsu uttered sadly. Let's fucking slap him, that motherfucker. I'm not upset, but since where are you interested in things like this?
Well, it's...
I mean, I understand that you've been for a while, but not so heavily. This is philosophical literature you're reading already, and you're younger than me. I tried to talk calmly, but my voice sounded a tone higher than it should have.
But I'm not younger than you, I just went to school later.
Okay. Maybe, but still.
Nikko-kun, is something wrong?
Everything's fine, everything's just wonderful. First Katya returns out of blue, now I turn out to be dumbest student in the school. No wonder, because you're missing classes, because you fucking drinking, because you fucking...
Katya-chan.
That's where I realized I'd said too much in my fit of righteous anger. Catherine, it just came out like that. Himitsu put her chopsticks aside and stood up from table. Himitsu, just please leave him alone. Just like, he's fucking useless. He has no future. Seriously, I see Nikolai, he has fucking no future. I swear.
Don't worry, it's okay, I'll go.
Yeah, just go. Himitsu, wait, you misunderstood. Please go. Nikko-kun, it's alright. I just thought that what you said earlier today...
I'll go.
Her face expressed nothing and I just didn't know what else to do.
Till tomorrow.
Yeah, bye. She said still coldly and left. Good job, Nikko-kun. Good job. It looked like I really was the dumbest. Whatever I said, it only made things worse. ... Meanwhile, the sky grew completely dark. Good job. I had most probably lived through worse days, but today was on top of it all, also completely meaningless. I didn't manage to find Catherine, but did manage to get in a fight with Himitsu. Nah, haha, how typical of me. If an idea gets into my head, I press forward with manic stubbornness, paying no attention to consequences or collateral damage. In the manga Kuyosoki liked so much, heroes would rarely choose the path of least resistance. I'm not choosing the least resistance, I'm choosing the most smartest ways for you. Contemptible is what some of them would say. Cowardliness is what others would add. But I'd say that everyone decides for themselves if the means justify the ends. Let's say I were to get Catherine to explain herself. Would it then completely upset my relationship with Himitsu? And there was still the matter of the call, said the note. Was I really in danger? In any case, at that moment, I feel something completely different. Nothing changed with Catherine and Himitsu never forgives me, then please do kill me, is what I thought. So wait, he wants two girls at the same time? Or what the fuck he wants? And if I were to give up now, would that really be the end of it? He wants to keep Himitsu as a friend and date with Katya, because he loves Catherine. But he kinda likes Himitsu as a friend. I tried to put myself in Himitsu's place, that didn't seem plausible. How would it look from her point of view, without finding anything out? Just forgets about Catherine, keeps living as if nothing happened? Yes, that's how people live, can you imagine, bro? Fucking people live like that. People forget their wives. They're fucking... I don't know. Although it seemed to me that Himitsu would be quite alright with the scenario. Well, perhaps she would now. But we're not 7 years old anymore. Something like this might fly once more. Twice, maybe. And then she just got away. Cry it out and leave everything behind as just another childhood memory. I barely believed my own logic, but driven by a surge of fear, kept peeling up every remotely plausible theory. I felt ashamed about Himitsu, but at the same time, couldn't keep Catherine out of my head. Although, after the events of the past day, I wasn't sure about my feelings toward her either. At least not completely. I was just tired. With some sleep, these feelings would fade away, only to come back tomorrow. No, couldn't keep going like this. I needed to find her and let her go? Or... At that moment I didn't want to think any further. Maybe I was afraid, but what the hell did it matter? The last car drove down the street, its tires creaking quietly, and my district sank into pre-dawn silence. Wow, just wow. Nikko-kun. I don't know how to help him. I think I just have to keep everything to Himitsu, and yeah, the game pushes us away. The game tries to push us away from Himitsu and tries to state that you have to be with Catherine, no matter what. The Catherine is on the top for him. A man can always be judged by how much he looks forward to the weekend. If the working days of the week were spent in labor, if you're exhausted and just want to rest, then you treat the weekend as a deserved reward. If you don't care and it's just the end of the week, then you're lazy deadbeat. That's fucking not true. Man has to work every day, doesn't matter. Yes, he deserve reward, but on the weekends he has to do family stuff, he has to do, some errands, chores, has other things to do. This Jesus was what my father used to say. I doubt he was an overly strict man. Rather, he was painfully fair-minded. Maybe he could no longer live under the totalitarian Soviet regime, or maybe his reasons were much more banal and mundane. Oh my god. Okay, let me educate you guys. The 80s, especially the late 80s as here, there were already no kind of Soviet Union regime. It was completely different. It was complete disaster. You can go and watch some very late Soviet movies. You can see how bad it was, how fucking bad. People were going to the, to different countries. There were so much crime already, slowly getting started. And there was no totalitarian. The totalitarian was, of course, but before, because 80s was dirty 80s. So anyway, the author and the main character completely bullshitting and even trying to confuse you guys, so say thank you to me for educating you. Let's go. In any case, it was far beyond the understanding of the small boy jerked out of his everyday life. Enough jerking, you have Himitsu to jerk you off. I remember being led to the airport by the hand, my father dragging a large suitcase behind him, a huge plane gobbling up passengers that soaring away to the sun, higher than the birds, higher than Icarus, who I'd read about in Book of Greek Myths, that he tried to fly higher, and he blew up his wings and he fell down and he fucking died. Even Iron Maiden is having a very good song, and it's actually 80s. I'm pretty sure the Peace of Mind already came out, Iron Maiden album. Damn, that's a fucking fabulous song. Okay, I didn't feel scared at all the time. I guess I didn't really understand what was going on. Slowly gliding along the lush carpet of clouds, the plane looked more like a ship swaying peacefully on the waves. And where the silhouettes of forests, rivers, cities, the endless vast steppes and tundras appeared below, they, for some reason, seemed unreal, like I was watching a film. The airport in that foreign country felt completely different. The new city was like another planet compared to my hometown. Many strange people were running about, speaking an unfamiliar language. The lights of the billboards, the endless strings of cars. I held tighter to my mother's coat. It seems that in just a moment I would be caught and carried away by this float to a place from where little children never return. Dad looked tense, the vein on his temple probing from time to time. People were constantly coming out our cramped hotel room. Some of them spoke Russian, but I couldn't understand exactly what they were saying. Probably it was Ukrainians. And then we moved here. I would never have thought that all of this was just for the three of us. Or have think that it's three of us. Interesting. My old room seemed enormous to me. I would build pillow fortresses, jump on the bed without even reaching the ceiling, like the closet that mom called a Czechoslovak wall. Is a bulky piece of furniture that would take up the most living room was considered as a sign of wealth for Soviet citizens. All the treasure in the world. After that, our new house, to my mind, was a mansion or palace out of Pushkin's fairy tale. Too many pictures, yo. Almost right away, I met the neighbor girl with a strange name. She was way too shy. I would never let go of her simple rag doll, but she spoke Russian, although with a slight accent. She didn't know how to play cops and robbers, which I was very upset about. It was as if until I arrived, all she had been doing day in the day always read her stupid books with scribbles. Like we had calligraphy classes in the first grade, and here it was if no one went to school at all. But there were cool pictures in her books, and over time I started to understand Japanese cartoons too. Not without my new friend's help, of course. She didn't stop being weird, but I got used to her. In fact, to me, she became the only one I was so close to besides my parents. How his parents died, he never explained it properly. Like car crash, what type of car crash? Naturally, I didn't look forward to the weekend. For me, the whole problem boiled down to the fact that I was going to see Catherine today. The Catherine issue still hung in the air, and then there was my recent fight with Himitsu. I couldn't be two-faced, I couldn't pretend nothing was happening, couldn't let things run their course. Both Catherine and Himitsu knew that. My lack of action would eventually drive both of them away. And while Katya couldn't be driven any further than she was now, the prospect of losing Himitsu genuinely scared me. Oh yeah, bro, who's gonna fucking who's gonna cook for you, wash your dishes, do laundry, jerk you off, motherfucker, which meant I had to decide on something. I didn't want to think that I had to make a decision because that would sound like a verdict. To top it off, I just didn't have to resolve to imagine that Catherine and I could be together again. Himitsu hadn't come. Well, there was anything surprising about that. Even she had lying her self-respect. Couldn't stand being crossed. Was yesterday's fight the last straw? How long would this have gone if the Catherine never returned? After eating a half-aced breakfast, I simply sat in the middle of the empty kitchen, aimlessly staring into the distance. Why he everything do aimlessly? He's like fucking blind or something? This was quite a problem life had thrown at me. Come on, life, what are you doing? Everything's been going fine. No! No, Nikoku, nothing is fine. Absolutely nothing. Everything is horrible for you. And you have to struggle. I said to no one in particular, just to make sure I wasn't sitting in a vacuum. Vacuum blocks sounds, warmth, love. It's like Katya's heart. No, I needed to talk to her after all. There was just one little thing to do first. Find her. It wasn't going to work. To look for a single girl, even in America, in multi-million person Tokyo was a dumb idea. Not to mention, she probably didn't want to be found anyway. And we would probably see each other on Mondays at school. But I couldn't sit still either. First I stood up and started pacing back and forth through the kitchen, then through the house, then walked out into the yard. Wow, he even has a yard. Guys, just Google what is the normal size of any Japanese apartment. Just like, not studio, I'm talking about apartment. It's like a box, like a tiny fucking box, and they fucking happy to have it. And he has a yard, he has an entire house, like just like, oh, in Tokyo. The feeling of powerlessness was weighing down, depressing me. I felt like wild predator in a small cramped cage. If only I could break free, I'd show them all. These agonizing thoughts drove me further and further into the depths of dark frustration. The ringing of the telephone sounded somehow very simple and mundane. Recently I seemed to have learned to guess who was calling without even picking up. This time too, it seemed like everything was fine. Hello.
Hey, Nick.
I hung up the phone. Why my life is so miserable? Why the life is unfair? Somebody's calling. Hello? Fuck you. Why life is miserable? Why? Anybody but him. Mixed with the contrast to my melancholy, his stupid cheerfulness would create a grim cocktail, leading to the suffering of innocent people. Still, I needed to decide what to do next. Indulge in the aforementioned melancholy all the way until evening, or try to do something. I didn't know where to look for Catherine, but deep inside I desperately wanted to leave the house for somewhere far away where my depression wouldn't reach me. You know how they say, the smart people will always find something to do with their own, and this is why I'm gonna stay home. Just fucking sit home and do something good, bro. That would be a waste of time. No, it's not. Go fucking do homework, go fucking do something. I'm pretty sure you have something to do. I get a chance to talk the day after tomorrow anyway. Okay, the game pushes me to talk with Catherine. No, bro, you're gonna fucking sit at home. Talk about what? And what with the point? Oh, fuck it all. Oh, so he's gonna go. Oh, he's not. I returned to my room, flopped down on the bed, and thoughtlessly stared at the ceiling. If only all this wasn't happening to me. I could be the one listening to the neighbor's domestic fight, condemning the husband, feeling sorry for the wife, thinking that the children did nothing wrong, and somewhere deep inside feeling glad that my own family was alright. Well, I didn't have a family, didn't even have a chance, any close friends. Only myself and, well, Himitsu. Not the most cheerful company, no matter how you look at it. I grinned bitterly, and at the same moment someone rang the doorbell. It was probably her, but why would she ring? I don't know. Coming! I shouted from the kitchen. The door opened somehow particularly slowly, and my heart seemed to have frozen for a second. Catherine, in the flesh, was standing on the doorstep. We looked at each other silently. Are we just going to stand here? I just don't like her. I just don't even want to show, you know, some impressions with her voice. Well, no. I was in a sort of suspended animation. It was a situation you read about in books while thinking. That never happened to me. I just froze, not knowing what to do next, not even thinking about it. Maybe you'll invite me in? Yes, of course. Sorry. Not even bothering to take off her shoes, Catherine quickly headed for the kitchen. Same old. She sniffed after running an eye over my dwelling. Did you expect to see something different? I had already somehow come to my senses, but am I still afraid to say something wrong to make her angry? No, of course not. She sat down on a chair and crossed her legs. It's clean, I have to say. Do you clean for yourself? A stupid question, of course, for Nicola Anokin to soil his hands. She stressed that nasty word, Nicola. Bitch. She didn't like it when I called her Katya, and that was her way of getting back at me. To what do I owe the honor? I thought you'd tell me. But why I wasn't the one to come to you, you came to me. So what? Catherine parried, unfazed. You wanted to talk, didn't you? So here I am. Talk. Just like that? I looked closely at her, noticed that she had barely changed in the past year and a half. Which is actually weird. Kids growing pretty quick and they changing. Ho ho ho. In 3 months you might recognize your friend. After school break. You're a bit more mature maybe, and that mostly manifests as a certain aura of self-confidence. Why not? Well, I don't really know. First you avoid me in every possible way, then you turn up on my doorstep and demand conversation. Not demanding anything. I can leave if that's what you want. No. Wait. About to stand up, Katya stopped and flashed a smug smile. You weren't at school yesterday. Were you worried? Ha 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 ha, look. Look, fucking bitch. Okay, that's a good fucking picture. Make a photo of you, bitch. She asked mockingly. Oh, come on, I don't even know where you live. I don't know your number. Should you? How am I supposed to understand you? With a sigh, I sat on the chair opposite to her. You're just a sadist. Sadistic. Me? Maybe she likes BDSM? Oh, look. She let out a loud laugh. Count me out. It's you who's a sadist and masochist all in one. I'm not sure. I didn't notice that in him. While She didn't finish, bit her lip and turned away. Do you think we shouldn't have met in the first place? How many billions of people are there on the planet that are the odds of Russian guy and American girl ending up in the same class of Japanese school? Here you go with the philosophical bullshit again. Be a man for once in your life. Yes! Fucking take her, like fucking turn the bed, like right here on the kitchen. What? I wasn't even insulted, just surprised. Do anything at all to respect you for. Her voice got louder with every word. Make a choice, a decision. Is that so hard? I managed to. And then the meaning of her words slowly started to reach me. Doesn't look like you had to put much of your own effort into it. Took a French, lived, and deigned to send a single meager letter. And naturally you blaming others, blaming me, even though you deemed an explanation to be below you. By all means, you shouldn't kept hitting in the country of yours. Why you drag yourself over here again? And if only it was just that, but to act like this, I was infuriated and paid exactly zero attention to the change in Catherine's expression. Were Himitsu in her place, I could confidently have said that she was about to cry, but Katya pulled herself together and said quieter now. And you're absolutely convinced everything happened exactly like you imagined, aren't you? As he were jerking off on her, of course. Why, it is convenient to fit the solution to the answer. What else was I supposed to think? I'm judging by the facts. By my voice no longer sounded as confident. Facts? Huh? An unnatural smile appeared on her face. Facts? You think it was easy for me to come here? You think... She jerked her head down, but I managed to notice her cheek twitch. Katya, Catherine, don't. You think you're the only one who has it hard? She suddenly jumped from her chair and pierced me with a hateful glare. Oh, fool. I thought she pierced me with a knife or something. You think the world revolves around you, and if you don't know something, it doesn't exist? I don't think anything. I just don't understand what you're talking about. You don't. She sat down again and let out a nervous laugh. Of course you don't understand, as if you could, and whispered quietly. What am I even doing here? I felt like I was silent witness to a Shakespeare monologue on a stage. Was this that Catherine man that she talked about philosophical bullshit? If I could change anything. What? She asked sadly. It's not about you, is it? I don't know what's happening with you, but you're right, it's not about me. It's just about me. It's about us. I just don't know what path to take. Himitsu is very nice. But definitely Nico-kun doesn't love anyone. He loves only Catherine. He's super selfish, he's super ignorant, he doesn't think about family, future. He just needs Catherine. Which is the stupidest thing ever. So, Catherine? Let's give him Catherine. There's no us anymore. I understand. Do you? Doesn't look like. What do you want me to do? To act if nothing happened? Hi Katya, how are you doing? Me? I'm quite fine, glad to see you back. Is that it? I don't want anything from you. She stood up and walked to the door. You pretended to be a victim of circumstance, a damn near holy lamp. Do you really not understand, Nikolai? Catherine turned around and looked at me, her eyes filled with tears. It wasn't me who decided to leave, it was my mother. She always decided everything for me. On the one hand, I felt terribly sorry for her. On the other, subconsciously wanted her to feel the same pain that had been killing me for the last year and a half. Revenge is not good. It was a nasty, repulsive desire to take revenge on the person I loved, to prove to her how much I suffered, and consequently how much I loved her. But that's not all there is to it, right? Maybe the decision wasn't yours, but it was what you wanted. Leave. Maybe you have to leave, it's my house. She said it quietly, but her tone was so harsh that I couldn't even find the determination to mention that this was in effect my house. Leave. Catherine repeated, and I slowly dragged myself to my room. Wonderful, Nikolai. Shamefully kicked out of your own kitchen, crushed and beaten without putting up even token resistance. Is what I was thinking, passing circles around my room. On the other hand, if Katya simply needed to be alone, why couldn't I allow her that much? In any case, the goal of her visit was still a mystery to me. She clearly felt some need to talk and sort things, but the attempt sucked pretty badly. Sometimes life can be much easier than one would think. Just a week ago, could I imagine Catherine just coming to my place so simply? Sure, I had been convinced I'll lose her forever, but even in my most desperate dreams, I couldn't imagine that the first thing we'd do after reuniting would be to get into yet another fight. It had been at least half an hour, and there still wasn't a single sound coming from the kitchen. I was tired of waiting, but still couldn't bring myself to go look at what Katya was doing. What if she'd left? Finally, Tim's steps sounded behind the door. Can I? And a quiet knocking. Yes? Catherine stepped into my room. She looked sad and tired, but there wasn't any trace of tears left. The lady could indeed preserve her dignity in any situation. You must be thinking I'm a selfish bitch. Honey, trust me, I'm not. I just blame you. You know, when the girl is showing you attention, like things, going into your house every single day wakes you up, that means that she, she wants you. And you, I don't know what was like last year, seems like it was exactly the same. But just Himitsu replaced her. And this is why Himitsu was upset. Because for a year and a half, she was with Niko-kun. And Nikolai, he's just wants to look back all the time, which is completely wrong in my opinion. However, he still loves her, and Catherine seems like she still loves him too. So let's see. I wouldn't go that far. Well, you have the right to. She continued, paying no attention to my words. If you only knew how hard is it for me to. I didn't want to leave, understand? I had to. I understand. But you could have at least talked to me. I couldn't. Suddenly, Katya's gaze, until aimlessly wandering through the room, stopped on my table. Is this... She walked up to it and took the letter in her hands. It was sealed. You never read it? Couldn't bring myself to. I smiled apologetically. It's probably for the better. What's in it? Just wanted to say I'm sorry. In the same dry, impassive way? A letter in the spirit of Miss Spoke with a single line, live long and prosper? Spoke is a fictional character in the Star Trek franchise. The character was brought up on the planet where showing emotion was considered in bad taste and was strictly prohibited. He often used a gesture named the Vulcan Salute that is usually taken to mean live long and prosper. Yeah, I love Star Trek too. I spread my fingers in traditional Vulcanian greeting. Catherine laughed, then let out sob and averted her eyes in the same shame. Yeah, something along those lines. Can I take it? Why? I asked in surprise. Because if you didn't read it, you definitely don't need it now. Well, if you want it. Katya quickly folded the letter in two and put it in her pocket. She clearly didn't want me to read it. The question was, did she not want me to read it now or at all? But what's done is done. I no longer had the letter. Oh my god, he's such a pussy. He's not a man. He's not a man. And there was still no escaping the conversation. You say you didn't want to, then what happened? Why didn't you tell me anything? Catherine looked at me, and there was so much sadness in her eyes it almost made me break into tears myself. I didn't want to hurt you. She came closer and sat on the edge of the bed. As if what you didn't hurt, you know, I sometimes don't understand what's going on in women's heads at all. And yours especially. How can you do something like this to a man you love? Did you ever love me in the first place? I was starting to get reeled up again, turning the hose of anger and resentment on Katya. Of course, oh my god, she's crying. I had this bitch crying. She said in a strained voice and left no doubt of her sincerity. Then I simply don't understand. It wasn't just about me, I mean... Who else? Your mother? Well, yeah, she never liked me. Catherine didn't respond. So, okay. You still want Catherine when you're aware that her mother doesn't like you. Catherine is kinda weird. But Himitsu on the other hand, Himitsu... Mom loves him. Himitsu loves Niko-kun. Everybody likes Niko except her. And he loves Catherine. You must know it's a bad excuse. I let out a sigh and looked out into the yard. Beyond my home's fences, the regular Tokyo life was boiling, millions of people caring not for my problems. They didn't understand me and didn't have to. But Catherine... Tell me honestly, why did you come here? Katya persisted on keeping silent. So you can't tell the truth, or you don't want to. Are my words not enough for you? She sobbed one last time, wiped her tears, and looked at me with confidence in her eyes. Or do you not believe me when I say I had my reason? Not enough? I grinned and stepped closer. Would it be enough for you in my place? Would it be enough for anyone? Why wouldn't it? Why would it, Katya? Why would it? I don't know what's on your mind, but stop with your sophisticated psychological sadism already. Do you want me to leave? I don't want anything already. I want to finish this game. She asked me with a strange detached expression on her face. I don't know, it's up to you. I just want you to stop deribing me. Deriding? Deriding? Okay, Catherine moved close and took my shirt, pulling it on it slightly. I think that's it, guys. I'm gonna also like stop here. I don't know. That's like fucking. I'm scared to play further. I'm just like fucking. I don't know what to do, but I just wanted to say thank you for watching at the very end. Please join the channel, subscribe on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. In the description will be a playlist with this game. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next episode.